The soft glow of dusk painted the sky in hues of orange and purple, as the cool evening breeze rustled through the leaves outside. Inside a cozy attic of an old brick house at the edge of a bustling town, a mother cat named Luna groomed her for adorable kittens, preparing them for the night ahead. Snowy, the shy one, was as white as fresh fallen snow, his little pink nose twitching with curiosity. Ginger, the bold one, had fur the color of ripened autumn leaves and a tail that never stopped twitching with energy. Midnight was as black as a moonless night, with eyes like glistening emeralds, always sparkling with mischief. And then there was Daisy, the littlest of them all, with soft grey fur and bright eyes that shone with kindness. The 4 kittens tumbled over each other, chasing each other around in a flurry of playful nips and happy meows. After a while, Luna called them to a stop, her green eyes shining with love. "My darlings," she began, her voice as soft as the first snowfall. "It's time for bed now. You need your rest so you can play again tomorrow." The kittens snuggled close to their mother, feeling safe and loved. They closed their eyes, their tiny chests rising and falling with each peaceful breath. Outside, the wind whispered through the trees, and the old house creaked and groaned as if settling into a peaceful slumber. But inside the attic, a rumble of thunder echoed, shaking the very foundations of the house. The kittens opened their eyes wide, staring at the dark shapes dancing behind the thin curtains. Rain began to drum against the windowpane, and a flash of lightning illuminated the worried faces of the 4 kittens. "Don't be afraid," Luna purred, sensing their fear. "It's just a little storm. Now go back to sleep." But sleep was impossible now. The kittens huddled together, their eyes wide and ears pricked, listening to the angry growl of the thunder. As the night wore on, the rain turned into a torrent, and the kittens became too frightened to stay in the attic. They wanted their mother Luna, but she was nowhere to be seen. Suddenly, a loud crash followed by a long, drawn-out meow made the kittens jump. "Mama!" cried Snowy, his small voice trembling. "Where are you?" No answer came except the relentless drumming of the rain. Fear clutched at their little hearts. What if something terrible had happened to their mother? Ginger, the bravest of the 4, stood up on shaky paws. "We have to find Mama," he declared, his orange fur bristling. "She wouldn't leave us." The other kittens nodded, their eyes shining with determination. Luna would never abandon them. They had to find her. So the 4 kittens, guided by Ginger's bravery, began their journey into the stormy night. They crept down the creaky stairs, each step groaning under their tiny weight. Then they ventured into the dark hallway, their eyes struggling to pierce the gloom. Ginger, with his keen eyesight, led the way, his tail held high. He pushed open the front door, and the 4 kittens tumbled out onto the rain-soaked doorstep. Before them stretched the dark and dangerous streets of the town, deserted and menacing in the stormy night. Taking a deep breath, the kittens started to explore the flooded streets. Snowy, The timid one clung to his siblings, his white fur plastered to his body by the rain. Ginger, ever the adventurer, jumped over puddles without a care, his tail held high. Midnight, full of playful energy, chased the falling leaves, batting them around with his paws. And little Daisy, the gentlest of them all, meowed softly, trying to keep their spirits up. Their journey was fraught with challenges. They had to squeeze through narrow gaps between overflowing bins, leap over gurgling drains, and navigate the treacherous slopes of muddy hills. At one point, they even had to cross a rushing stream. Finding a fallen leaf, they used it as a boat and floated across, holding on to each other tightly. Then suddenly, a large, snarling dog emerged from the shadows, its teeth bared in a threatening snarl. The dog lunged, and the kittens scattered, racing into a nearby alley. They huddled together, their hearts pounding, as the dog barked furiously outside the alley. "What do we do?" whispered Snowy, his voice shaking. "We can't stay here," said Ginger, his eyes darting around. There must be another way out. And indeed, after what felt like hours, they found a gap in the wall that led to a quieter street. Exhausted and soaked to the bone, the 4 kittens continued their search for their mother, their hope dwindling with each passing moment. Just when their paws were about to give out from exhaustion, they saw a light in the distance. With renewed strength, they stumbled towards it, their eyes fixed on the warm glow. As they drew closer, the smell of freshly caught fish filled their little noses, making their mouths water. When they finally reached the source of the light, they found themselves outside a small fisherman's hut, and sitting on the steps was Luna, her eyes shining with relief and love. "Mama!" cried the kittens, rushing towards her. Luna, unable to contain her joy, nuzzled them one by one, her heart overflowing with love and relief. She licked their wet fur, soothing their aches and comforting their fears. The reunion was filled with tears of joy, soft purrs, and tight cuddles. The kittens nestled against their mother, feeling safe and loved. In that moment, all the fear and exhaustion of their journey seemed to melt away. Luna, with her deep maternal instincts, knew just what to do. She took her kittens inside the hut, where a fire crackled merrily in the hearth, casting a warm glow over the cozy interior. She curled up with them, sharing her body heat and purring softly to calm their racing hearts. Then, as if sensing their hunger, she got up and went to a corner where a bowl of milk and fish awaited. The kittens, their tiny bellies rumbling, eagerly lapped up the milk and ate the fish, feeling their strength returning with each bite. As the days turned into nights and the storm outside subsided, the kittens slowly regained their strength. But the experience had changed them. They had faced dangers and hardships that no kitten should ever have to endure. They had braved the raging storm, outsmarted the cunning rat, and crossed the rushing stream. Through it all, they had relied on each other, and that bond had only grown stronger with each passing challenge. One evening, as they were playing in a patch of warm sunlight that streamed through the dusty attic window, Daisy, the smallest of the four, looked up at Luna, her bright eyes shining with wisdom beyond her years. "Do you think we were ever really lost, Mama?" she asked. "I mean, we found our way back to you, didn't we?" Luna, who had been grooming Snowy, paused and looked at all of her kittens, her green eyes filled with love and pride. "You were never lost, my darlings," she said softly. "You were simply on an adventure. And what an adventure it was! You showed such bravery, such kindness, and such love for one another. I couldn't have asked for more from any of you." The kittens looked at each other, their eyes shining with understanding. They realized that their adventure hadn't just been about finding their way back home. It had been about discovering the strength, courage, and love that resided within each of them. From that day on, the family of cats was closer than ever. And as the kittens grew older, they carried with them the lessons they had learned during their adventure. Snowy, once the shyest of them all, became known for his calming presence. Ginger, with his adventurous spirit, became a skilled hunter. Midnight, always full of mischief, became a playful mentor to the younger cats in the neighborhood, and little Daisy, with her gentle wisdom, became the heart and soul of their family, reminding them all to look for the good in every situation and to face every challenge with love and kindness. And so, the tale of the four courageous kittens who braved the raging storm to find their way back to their loving mother became a legend, whispered from one generation of cats to the next, a reminder that no matter how tiny you are, when you stand together, you can face the whole wide world.